Sarah Martinez walked through the thick glass entrance of Ocean View High School with her new class schedule clutched tightly in her damp hands. The bright California sunlight poured through the tall windows, stretching pale beams across the glossy hallway floors. Students hurried past in clusters, their laughter bouncing off rows of metal lockers as they greeted friends they had not seen all summer. Sarah felt small among them, another unfamiliar face blending into the noise, which suited her just fine. Drawing attention to herself was the last thing she wanted. Relocating during senior year had never been part of her plan. Her father's unexpected job transfer had uprooted them from their comfortable neighborhood in Denver and dropped them into this coastal town where the ocean breeze carried both salt and gossip. Back home, she had finally found her rhythm at Jefferson High. She had built friendships through debate club and honor society, carving out a quiet but confident identity. Now, at 17, she was forced to start from the beginning again. Her morning classes passed in a haze of introductions and distribution of course outlines. In each classroom, teachers asked her to stand and share something about herself. Every time, she delivered the same practiced explanation about moving from Colorado and enjoying books and photography. Polite nods followed, along with fleeting curiosity, before classmates returned to their conversations or phones. By the time the lunch bell rang, her stomach twisted with nerves instead of hunger. The cafeteria felt like an entirely different battlefield. In classrooms, assigned seats created predictable order. In the lunchroom, invisible social boundaries dictated everything. She picked up a simple turkey sandwich and a bottle of water, scanning the crowded room for an empty place where she might sit unnoticed. Conversations buzzed around her. The popular crowd occupied tables near the windows, laughing loudly about parties and weekend trips. Athletes gathered in the center, still dressed in practice gear, replaying moments from games. A handful of quieter students sat toward the edges, reading or finishing homework in silence. At the back of the cafeteria, she noticed an unoccupied table beside a group who appeared focused on chemistry assignments. They seemed absorbed in their work and unlikely to question her presence. Carefully weaving through backpacks and trays, she reached the table and sat down, quietly unwrapping her sandwich. A sudden burst of louder voices drew her attention to the middle of the room. A group had gathered around a tall senior who was speaking with animated gestures, commanding laughter and approval. His presence filled the space. His name was Derek Thompson, though she did not yet know it. He was 18, broad-shouldered and muscular, wearing a Marine JROTC uniform that fit him with sharp precision. His blonde hair was trimmed in a strict military style, making him appear older and more imposing than many of his peers. Confidence radiated from him, but it teetered dangerously close to arrogance. Derek held the position of commanding officer in the school's Marine JROTC program, a title that carried prestige. Teachers often praised his discipline and leadership potential. His grades were solid enough to keep him in good standing, and he had spoken openly about enlisting in the Marines after graduation. Many adults saw him as focused and ambitious. What they did not always see was the way he maintained influence among students, through subtle intimidation and strategic humiliation. He chose targets carefully, preferring those unlikely to fight back. Sarah kept her head down, unaware that his attention had shifted toward her. She was mentally rehearsing what she might say if the nearby students acknowledged her presence when his voice sliced through the cafeteria noise. "Well, what's this?" he called out loudly, ensuring others would look. "Looks like someone new decided she's too important to introduce herself." Her head jerked up. He was staring directly at her, hands planted on his hips. Conversations faded as curiosity rippled outward. Heat rushed to her cheeks. "I'm sorry," she said softly. He stepped closer, smirk deepening. "You've been walking around all day like you own the place, not talking to anyone. That's not how we do things here." The word sweetheart rolled off his tongue with clear condescension. Her pulse quickened. She had faced teasing before, but never with such an audience. "I'm just new," she managed. "I'm still adjusting." He laughed, but there was no humor in it. "Adjusting? Let me help you adjust. This isn't some fancy suburb where you ignore people. Around here, you show respect." Her hands trembled. She tightened her grip on her sandwich to hide it. Several students watched uneasily, but no one intervened. Even the chemistry group had stopped working, relieved perhaps that they were not the focus. "What do you want me to do?" she asked. His smile widened. Start by standing when you address someone who's earned authority. Silence thickened in the room. She hesitated, knowing compliance would feed his behavior, yet refusal might escalate it further. Slowly, she rose to her feet. That's better, he said approvingly. Now apologize for your attitude. My attitude. Her voice faltered. I don't understand. You walked in here acting superior, he said, stepping closer until he invaded her space. Like you're better than everyone. She glanced at her plain sweater and jeans. There was nothing elite about her appearance, but facts did not matter. He had crafted a narrative. I don't think that, she said steadily. I just wanted to eat. He mocked her words, painting her as a privileged outsider. Students shifted in discomfort. A few discreetly raised phones. I'm sorry if it seemed rude, she offered carefully. He flicked her water bottle, sending it rolling. When she moved instinctively to catch it, his hand clamped around her wrist. Did I say you could move? He asked in a low tone. Her heart pounded. The grip tightened. Let go, she said. I will when you learn respect. She felt trapped between humiliation and anger. Something inside her resisted total surrender. Respect isn't grabbing someone, she said quietly but firmly. His face reddened. He shoved her shoulder, causing her to stumble back against the table. Her lunch scattered across the floor. A collective gasp moved through the room. You think you can talk back? He snapped. Before he could escalate further, a calm but commanding voice rang out from behind him. That's enough. He turned. A tall junior with dark hair pulled into a ponytail stood several feet away, posture steady and eyes unwavering. Her name was Maria Martinez, no relation to Sarah. I said that's enough, Derek, Maria repeated. He tried to dismiss her, but she did not retreat. She accused him plainly of bullying. The word coward followed, striking harder than any physical push. Tension mounted as they faced each other. Then the sound of purposeful adult footsteps approached. Principal Janet Williams had noticed the unnatural quiet in the cafeteria. With 15 years of experience leading Ocean View High, she recognized the warning signs. When she entered, she immediately sensed the charged atmosphere. What is happening here? She demanded calmly. Derek snapped to attention, presenting a polished version of events. Maria contradicted him. Sarah, shaken but honest, described what had happened. Principal Williams noticed the red imprint on Sarah's wrist and the scattered belongings. Small details often told more than rehearsed explanations. She escorted Derek to her office first. Behind closed doors, she questioned him carefully. His initial confidence began to crumble under precise inquiries. When she referenced past informal complaints about intimidation, his composure weakened further. He had assumed that because no formal discipline had been issued, his record was clean. He had not realized administrators tracked patterns. As she prepared to contact his parents, her secretary burst in with alarming news. Multiple students had recorded the incident, and the videos were spreading rapidly across social media platforms. The footage clearly showed him grabbing and shoving Sarah. Color drained from his face. Soon, both sets of parents were contacted. Sarah's mother arrived protective but grateful for swift action. Derek's parents arrived stunned. Watching the video shattered the image they had held of their son. His father, a former army serviceman, saw not leadership but cowardice. Consequences followed quickly. Derek was suspended immediately. His leadership role in JROTC was revoked. The Marine recruiter he had worked with for over a year contacted the school after viewing the footage. The recruiter made it clear that such behavior disqualified him from enlistment consideration. The Marine Corps sought integrity, not intimidation. At home that evening, Derek watched his plans unravel. Social media comments condemned his behavior. Friends distanced themselves. His girlfriend ended their relationship. For the first time, stripped of his audience and authority, he confronted the reality of his actions. His father spoke to him quietly about accountability. Leadership, he explained, meant protecting others, not overpowering them. Derek had confused fear with respect. Meanwhile, Sarah sat at home reflecting on a day that had begun with anxiety and ended with unexpected support. Messages from classmates expressed sympathy. Maria texted her encouragement. Instead of isolation, she found solidarity. What Derek had intended as a display of dominance had instead exposed his character. The community saw clearly what had happened. His carefully constructed image dissolved under the weight of truth. The following morning, Sarah returned to school nervous but no longer alone. Several students greeted her kindly. Maria walked beside her into the building. Though the memory of the confrontation lingered, she felt stronger. Derek did not return that day. His future had shifted dramatically in less than half an hour. Actions carried consequences, especially when witnessed and documented. In trying to establish power, he had revealed weakness. In standing her ground with quiet dignity, Sarah had demonstrated strength. Ocean View High resumed its routine rhythm, but something had changed. Students had witnessed both cruelty and courage. They had seen that silence could be broken and that authority could be questioned. And for Sarah Martinez, what began as the most frightening moment of her first day became the foundation for something better, a fresh start built not on fear, but on resilience and newfound allies.